What's up, everybody? Hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Give me a sec as I get myself set up today. All right. So welcome to today's Obvio call. I think everybody knows who I am, but just in case, I'm Blue. One of the folks here at Obvio. And today's call is designed to help you guys get started or take your Obvio knowledge to the next level. So whether you're just getting started and you have a question like, hey, how do I create an event? Or you're a seasoned pro like Muddy or Justin or some other familiar faces I see on the call, and you're like, hey, I heard you guys have this new marketplace feature. How do I use that? Or form moderation feature. I'm really curious. How do I use that? Regardless of where you are, we are here to answer your questions today and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. On the dashboard that got you into this call, there is a button that says ask a question, I believe is what it says. Let's see. Ask a question. Yeah. And if you have questions, go ahead and drop those in that form. That's how we keep track of the questions that have come in and make sure that you get your questions answered. I do pay attention to the chat, although a little less so on these calls. They're generally pretty straightforward. And if we needed extra context or something along those lines for a question, we'll of course unmute you. So I would recommend you be as brief as possible with your questions in the online component, just so that I can skim them quickly and get your questions answered. So we have a few people who have submitted questions previously that are in our Q&A system already. I'm going to just walk through those really quickly and then go from there. So the first question is from, I'm not sure if it's Leon or Lion, but I feel like it's probably Leon, even though it's spelled Lion. And he says, how do I open the room for my tech check, but not allow people to come into the room until it's their time? So this is a great question, and it relates not just to tech check, but honestly to any Zoom room that you open inside of Obvio. So first I'm going to say what we call vanilla Zoom, which is if you just have a regular Zoom account and you start a meeting, once you start that meeting, generally speaking, people can get into it. Now, you can pause that by enabling what's called a waiting room inside of Zoom, and that will prevent people from getting into your vanilla Zoom meetings. Now, for Obvio Zoom meetings, you can do that same thing. However, Obvio has a feature built into it that allows you to essentially replicate the waiting room experience, but have it be branded with custom messaging that you define. So how you do that, first off, when you're opening a room, you're going to open up Obvio. You're going to go to Zoom areas on the left-hand side, and then you're going to click on the area that you want to open. So if we were opening Tech Check, we would click here. And on the Tech Check page, you're going to get a couple of things that you can turn on or off. Number one, you have the open area. And then number two, you have the ability to open rooms. Now, most of you are just going to have a single room in an area. Sometimes there'll be multiples for tech check, but for now, let's assume you only have one. Now, how you open up Zoom for yourself, but not for attendees, is you open up the room, but you leave the area closed. Okay, so the area, how I think of this, because we think of everything here at Obvio as former event planners. So I think of rooms, opening rooms as opening the back door into a ballroom. And I think of opening areas as opening the front door for attendees into the ballroom. So rooms allow you to open up Zoom and get yourself ready and start music and put on a countdown timer and do all the things that we would normally do in a meeting space before we let attendees into the ballroom, right? We prep it. And this allows you to essentially do the same thing. Now, until the area is opened, attendees can't get into Zoom. If they click on the join the main stage button or whatever button you have called it, they'll get an offline page. And the offline page is, it inherits the design elements of your login page, but there's some minor changes that you can make. The most important being on the area, you can select offline text and customize the offline text to be whatever you want it to be. By default, there's nothing here. It looks like this. It'll be blank in both areas. Now, the offline title will default to tech check, in other words, your area name, and then it'll say is currently offline. So if you don't put anything in here, it'll just default on the offline page to say room name, like insert room name, is currently offline. You can change that to be whatever you want, like, yo, we're not open for tech check just yet, right? Or, I'm sorry, the main stage is currently closed, or whatever you want to say. And then you can use the text below, the text box below the title, to put some additional information in there. You can put images in there, you can insert videos in there, and really customize that offline page experience. So that's how you do basically how you that's going to be not just for tech check, but that's going to be how you're going to want to get into Zoom at all times, right? Whether it's tech check, your main stage, the help desk, your lobby, it doesn't matter what Zoom area you're opening. That's going to be the process by which you do it. Start by opening your rooms, get yourself settled, make sure you're ready to let attendees in, and then when you are, open the area. All right, next question is from Gina Maria. This is a nice, easy question because it's not related to Obvio at all. I attended Colette Baron-Reid's in-person Oracle Palooza in San Diego in 2019. I swear Barry was there, and I met her when I noticed the impeccable service and asked her about Sage. Was it her? Yes. Next question. Carol Eisenberg asks, how do I get into Obi? So first off, do we have anybody on here who is not a Leap member? Okay, so there's a couple of you who are not Leap members. So Obi is an AI-based feature that is exclusive to Leap members. So most of you won't, like those of you who are not Leap members won't see this. So if you're watching the recording or if you're watching the live stream or if you're with us and you're not a Leap member, know that what I'm about to show isn't there for everybody. So first off, you're going to want to go to your organization page. So in my case, I'm in the Obvio testing account and updates organization. Yours will probably say something like your name and organization or your company name. And then from here, you're going to click on the menu on the right-hand side for the organization, not the account menu, which is a little different, the organization menu. And you're going to see an option here for Obi. And when you do, that will open up Obi and give you access to the information and the things that you need. So you're going to need to start by logging into Obvio, of course. If you're not sure your Obvio login information, then go ahead and email us at, especially if you're asking about Obi, you should email us at leap@poweredbysage.com, and we can help you get logged in to the platform. All right, let me go back to my questions. That was Carol. All right, so next up is from Amy Hayek. And Amy Hayek said, I may have asked this before, but can you walk me through the method of live streaming to YouTube? I tried today, but I got a message and I can't figure it out. Okay. So, Amy, I'm about to answer your question. How about that? Look at that. I'm just now paying attention to the chat. So how you stream to Zoom is essentially inside. I don't think I can share my Zoom window first off. Maybe I can. Can you see my Zoom window? Can you guys see that? Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. I have it turned on. All right. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to I can't show you right now because we're actually live streaming already to YouTube. But essentially what you do is you're going to come up here to the menu, the more menu, and you're going to go to live stream, and you're going to have some options in there. You're going to have the option to stream to YouTube. You're going to have the option to stream to Facebook. I believe you have the option. I think there's two versions of Facebook still, though I'm not really sure what the second one does. And then there's also the option to stream to a custom RTMP feed. The easiest way to do it, if you have your YouTube login or the account information for the live stream that you're streaming to, is to stream direct to YouTube, and then you have to authorize the system through YouTube, and then select the live stream that you want to go to, and just kind of follow the prompts and turn it on. If you don't have the login information, but for some reason, like it's somebody else's account that you need to stream to, then you may need to go the custom RTMP route, in which case the person who's managing the live stream, you're just going to need to ask them for their stream key and stream URL, allowing you to stream not just to YouTube, but honestly to any destination that accepts an RTMP feed, which is a standard for live streaming on the internet. Amy, what message did you get when you tried to do this?
Okay, so I clicked live stream and then I clicked YouTube, and then it asked me which account. So I clicked the account that I wanted, and it gave me a list of, it can do all the things. And, read your horoscope and all that stuff that it always says. And so I clicked all those. And then it said that it needed authorization. So, I mean, like I got a little pink box, and I wish I had screenshotted that, because, it was whatever the terminology it uses.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go anywhere from there. So I didn't know what I needed. Did I need to go to YouTube first and get it approved?
No, you should be able to do it directly through that. But to be fair, I'm not sure if that was a YouTube or a Zoom message. Okay. So what I would say, Amy, is try again. If you get the same message, then take a screenshot of that and send it to us at help@obv.io. And we'll see if we can't help you at least track down an answer.
I'll test it out later today. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Authorization messages like that usually are related to YouTube primarily. So that's what's coming to mind in this moment. Like maybe it didn't get properly authorized, but it sounds like it did. And honestly, I'm not 100% certain, because if I'm being honest, I don't stream all that much. Most of what we do is inside of, well, when we do stream, I generally don't stream from YouTube. We have a Blackmagic web presenter that we stream out from. And it has native integration with YouTube that works really nicely. So Muddy asked a question: how can I change the color of the hamburger menu to match my client's brand colors? Muddy, what template are you using?
Just the classic.
Okay, so for the classic template, the first off, for everybody who's like, what's a hamburger menu? So the hamburger menu is this guy right here. And it opens up a little sidebar. It gives you some direct links to some pages, the ability to log out, see who you're logged in as, etc. For Classic, the top right gear is going to open up something called Simple Blog, which that probably needs to be changed, but whatever. We'll click on Styling, and you're looking for this area right here. So you have three colors that you can change. One is the background color of the menu itself. The other is the menu text color. And the last is the menu icon color. So if I wanted this color to be red as an example, and my menu text color or my background color to be like gray, like that, I would click save, and that changes the menu hamburger color. It also changed the sidebar color and the text color. So it's in basically the header settings under styling right down at the bottom.
Boom. Already got it changed. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, no worries. I gotta change this back before somebody's like, what did you do? Seriously, Blue, why did you do that? Great question. Not sure. Click save. I blame Muddy. Okay. Next question is also from Jane Newman. Not also, is from Jane Newman. I'm stuck on creating my dashboard. I tried to upload my logo and tried to enlarge it. My mistake. Now I can't go forward. May I screen share? Yes, you may. So you should be able to share your screen now. Is Jane Newman still with us? She is. There we go. Hey, Jane, I'm also going to unmute you, by the way.
Yeah, unmute, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I
Did
got
you
this
already
far.
create? Did you already create your event? Oh, wait, scroll
I
down to the bottom.
did. And I was working on the dashboard, but then I was trying to put my logo in there and I tried to enlarge it the size of the screen, and then I saw I wasn't supposed to enlarge it. And then create wouldn't work after that. So I don't know where I am in the process.
All right. Do me a favor and just click on events right at the top next to the Obvio logo on the left-hand side.
Okay.
Right there. Click there.
Okay.
All right. So now go ahead and click on just solve it.
This one?
Yep. You have to click on the logo. Yep. All right. And then go to design on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
right,
there's
there
my logo.
Okay.
So
what's up?
now I think I can do that now. Go to settings, right? Next.
What
what?
are you trying to do?
I'm trying to create a dashboard, but
No,
I
I
was
got
going
you.
to.
I got you. So you are working on the dashboard currently. That's what you're in. So
Yeah.
is there something specific you're trying to edit? Are you trying to reduce the size of that logo?
I don't know whether to put the logo, like I know the one that you use, like Microsoft, like covered up the whole back.
No, that was the background image. So
Oh, that was the background.
so if you click on the gear, let's start with this. Click on the gear at the top right, the blue one, not that one.
Oh, okay. This one.
Just down, no, down.
Oh, this one I see.
There you go. All right, now click on styling.
Okay.
And scroll down Actually, you know
Wait,
what? It may be on the set. Go back to the settings tab. Sorry. So wait. Stop. On the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, up at the top, under header, it says settings. Click on that.
hang on. Oh,
Right?
this one. Yeah.
That's yeah. And scroll down.
Yeah.
All right. So now take that size and this. Don't remove it.
Oh,
The size and move it to the right or to the left to reduce the size. The size scroller right down at the
oh, the
bottom.
size. Okay.
The slider right down at the bottom. You don't stop clicking. Move your mouse down to the slider at the bottom.
Where's the slider?
Right.
Oh, that one. Oh, that
Yeah.
thing was covered up.
There you go. And then click. Yeah, perfect. Good. Now click save.
We're safe.
Right underneath that. You may there may be
Yeah.
a zoom thing, but there you go.
There.
All right. So that reduces your logo a little bit to be a little bit
Yeah.
more visible.
Okay.
So
So I think
what-
I can go from here because I have what Muddy sent me the link to the video that starts on 40 minutes that shows you how to set up your dashboard
cool.
that you did a couple or 3 weeks ago.
Yep. So one of the things that you're probably going to want to figure out is what your background image is going to be. That's probably going to be
Yeah.
something that's the next thing to give your dashboard a little bit of style. And the template that you're using is called cards. And
Yeah.
cards is a little bit different in terms of where the background image is set up. So click on global styles on the left-hand side, right below dashboard. There you go. All right, now remove those 3 images that seem to be broken. Just click remove, click confirm, remove, confirm, remove, confirm. Perfect. And go down to the bottom and click save.
All right.
Okay. Now, perfect. That's good enough. So now when you're ready and you know what background image you want to use, you come up here and you insert it in by clicking the image button on one of those backgrounds, background 1 through 5. It doesn't matter which you
Okay.
use. Okay.
All right.
And then you go back to, then you click save, and then you go back to your dashboard, and that will update the background image for the page.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then I just keep following that video, right?
You got it. And if
Thank
you want to
you.
have more than one background image, like background images that rotate, then you would just upload more than one on that global styles page.
One will be great. And I also filled out a form to get somebody to create my dashboard.
Yeah, I saw that come through, and our team will reach out to you, I would think today or tomorrow.
But
Well,
I
probably
was trying to do. I was trying to do it myself, but I've had COVID for 2 weeks, so I'm not in really good shape.
I'm
So-
sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're, well, at least sitting upright.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. All right. You are welcome. All right. All right, Nick, enabling dynamic room assignment, optimizing for 290 in each room, tagging 3,000 with room counts does not enable us to ensure there are 290 in each room. Do we use Zoom areas, 1 area, 5 rooms, or 5 rooms because of rules for tagging? Okay, Nick, are you on with us?
Yep.
Okay, hey, Nick.
Honey.
So you're in an ideal world, what you're doing, like, so there's a couple things. Number one, the first guess is right. So single area, 5 rooms within the area, assuming the total number of attendees is 290 times 5, then that's exactly how many people will wind up. Obvio does what we call load balancing when you have more than one room in an area. And essentially, if both rooms are open, then they fill relatively evenly. And I say relatively evenly because the numbers are never perfect, but they're always really, really close. So when we're trying to get a specific number into rooms, I do exactly what you just said, or what we just said is I say, okay, how many people do we have? How many rooms do I need in order to get my number, which is usually like, oh, with 3,000 people, 500 per room, I need 6 rooms. right? So that's the way to think about it. And then you have one button on the dashboard that points to the single area. And when attendees click on it, they get automatically assigned. You don't have to do, unless you want to assign people to very specific rooms, you don't have to do any tagging for room assignment. The system will handle it automatically.
That's great. And no, that's perfect. So we'll have, a bunch of people registered. We're expecting a certain percentage to show up, and we want to evenly distribute them amongst the rooms. So just recapping back to you, one area, number of rooms per ideal count, right?
You got
In our case, it's 290, right? So and that because we're doing groups of 3, and there's a cap of 100 breakout rooms per room, just to give some other context to why the 290. And then
and that all makes sense to me. And the other thing that I would be contemplating, when we're doing something like this, I always default to opening the least amount of Zoom rooms possible, because more Zoom rooms equals more opportunity for failure points, right? And I'm constantly thinking, when we're running a virtual event, what's the path of least resistance? So, if I can run one room instead of 5, we run one room. So with that being said, oftentimes what we'll do is we'll say, okay, we're trying to get, I'm going to use your numbers. We're trying to get to 290. And I think we're going to have, 300 per room. I think we're going to have 1,500 people show up, but it may be 1,200. And ideally, it really is 300 people per room. So what we'll do is we'll do something like open up 4 of the rooms and allow them to fill up until not all the way to the top, right? We'll allow them to fill, like if I was using 300 as my number, I would allow them to fill to 250. And then the moment they hit 250, I would open up the next room. And what Obvio will do is that room will then get the lion's share of new attendees coming in, because it has the least amount of people in it. But I do that because, especially when we're not 100% sure how many people are going to be showing up, like we're making an educated guess. I do that because it gives me the possibility of only having to run 4 rooms instead of 5. So that's what we do.
That's great. And it's super, super amazing magic trick. Thank you so much for this pro tip here. It's really helpful. And yes, because we are expecting to register a lot, have a very small percentage of show up rate. And so I'm having anxiety, my word, about like what to open, who to open, who should come, all that stuff. And so also multi-day. So we're not sure if the same amount of people are going to show up on day 2 that showed up on day 1. So whole nother dynamic there. But I think this does answer the question that I'm asking, which is to get to this. Like, so totally. once they get to 250, open up another one, that'll fill it to 250, and then just keep going as that room gets to 250. And then basically by the time you're done, let's say 30 minutes into the event, you got most of your people there, they're distributed, and then
exactly. That last room may only get to 120, right? Because you don't have any more people who show up. But so that's something for you to think about and consider. If that one room is at 120, does it kill the experience for people? Or would you rather have, you know what I mean? Like you do have to say, okay, like there's a chance that it doesn't get to 250. The other thing, the other reason that we do it at 250, not right at 300, is think of it like you're pouring a glass of water. And if you try and stop right at the top of the glass of water, but without spilling, the chances of you actually getting it right, unless you're like a circus performer, are very, very, very slim, right? Your brain is going to say stop, and then your hand is going to stop. But by the time everything stops flowing, you've overflowed the water. Same thing happens with Zoom. The moment when you open up a Zoom room, it takes about 20 to 30 seconds for Zoom to tell us, hey, there's another room open, and Obvio to start assigning people. So that's why we do it at a lower number than what our target goal is.
Yep. And so if we stop at 250 and we open the 2, sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish your point.
No, go ahead. If you stop at 250, I'll
remember. We open at 250, then that means that it's going to try to fill to 250, the second room, and it won't put people in the first room before it gets to 250 in the second room. I mean, this is ideal situation, but like I'm just the fuzzy math. of Zoom.
That's generally what's taking place, right? So you're at 250, you're going to open up, let's say you had 4 rooms open and you open up a 5th room, just so that I know the numbers. When you open up, at 250, when you have 250 approximately, you'll see like 250 in one, 248 in another, 252 and whatever, around there. When you open up that next room, that 5th room, you'll still see the other rooms grow a couple until the next one starts growing, because it's, like I said, about 20 to 30 seconds for Obvio to recognize this new room is open, at which point now everybody will start going into room 5. Let's talk about the opposite, right? Because this is a multiple day event. Once somebody is assigned to a room, it is a permanent assignment for the event. They can leave and come back, and when they come back, they go back into the same room. There's no way to change that. Now, here's the rub for multi-day events where you think your attendance may drop a little bit over the course of the event, right? On day 1, you may be like, okay, we got 250 in each. We don't really need, tomorrow we're going to have 200 in each. We don't really need that 5th room. Let's not open it. Okay. This is a decision that happens oftentimes. We make these decisions all the time. Anybody who was assigned to room 5 on day 1, if you don't open room 5 on day 2, will get an offline message, because when they go to join the main stage, even if 1 through 4 are open, they're assigned to room 5. Room 5's not open. What's going on? Inside of Zoom areas, there is a toggle that you need to turn on in an event like yours, which is this reassign on offline.
Yep.
Okay. And I would just say, make sure that that is toggled on if you're going to change the number of Zoom rooms that you open in a downward trajectory. And that will prevent, because then what'll happen is that those people who are in room 5, when they click on it, Obvio will say, hey, room 5 isn't open. Let's reassign them, because there's rooms 1 through 4 that are open, and it'll happen automatically.
Yeah, my thought on that was either do the full clear room assignment button each day,
Yeah.
right? Or do another area for day 2 or day 3, so that, so there's less. But you've given me a couple things to noodle on, so that therefore, like, it because there's some people are saying we want people to go to the same rooms every day. Another person saying I'd like you to mix it up. So I'm still in the decision-making production process, for that situation. But so I've reassigned back on, because I saw that part of the onboarding video. And then what if you said it was areas and then rooms? I was going to ask if I do another area for day 2, and then just change the button to make it so that it's more dynamic, because of this room assignment thing. But that's just the same step, if I'm understanding correctly, as me clicking clear room assignments at the end of day 1. Right?
Yep. So you'll get the same end result, and you don't have to do the creation of the second area.
Great. All right. And if I wanted to send Bob, Tom, Shannon, and Josie to a specific room, is that possible in this area situation? That's just going into the room assignment, right?
If it's like 5 people specifically, like I want to send these 5 people to a specific room, or let's just say a small number, you can assign rooms manually inside of the attendees table. So you can go into the attendees table, and there's the clipboard room right here, the clipboard icon. And then you can say, next to main stage, assign this person to room 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. So you can manually do room assignments, at the attendee level. That's option number 1. And if it's a small number, that's probably best. You can, if you have a tag or a
I have 2
group,
tags. Yes.
Okay. So if you have a tag, and it's like, let's just use the example. I've got VIPs and non-VIPs, and I want to make sure my VIPs are in room 1, and then I want all my non-VIPs in rooms 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 2 ways that you can do that. Number 1, you can do it at the button level. So you create 2 buttons on your dashboard. One points to the main stage area. another points to the VIP area. And then you use visibility rules on the buttons to show the VIP area button to VIPs and like VIP people with the VIP tag, and you use the main stage area button for people with the GA button. So that's one way to do it, but minor downside is now you have two areas that you have to manage. You have to open both areas. You have to, the rooms are pretty much the same, but you do have to remember to toggle open areas in VIP and in main stage.
Yep.
So you can also use rules. Okay. And I'm going to tell you straight up that rules are a little bit of an advanced level move, but it's not complicated. Okay. So how rules work, and in order to make them work properly, I'm going to create another room inside this area. So I've got 2. And then I'm going to go into the room level, and under description, I'm going to make one GA and click save. And then I'm going to go into room 2 and I'm going to click VIP and click save. Just so you know, the description is a purely internal piece. Nobody else sees that. So this is really just used for you internally. So now you go rules and you click new rule. You click on conditions and you go add rule tags includes VIP. Click save, close that, click on rooms and send them to room number 2, which is my VIP. And then new rule and go tags includes GA, just assuming that that's what it is. Click on rooms and select the GA room. And of course, if you had multiple, you could select multiples, right? It's just using these checkboxes.
Yep.
Now, most people stop here. And this is why rules are a little bit of an advanced level move. There is a small chance that people are in your attendee table that don't have the GA or VIP tag. And you want to account for that just in case. And how you do that is you create a new rule. You don't add any conditions and you send them to GA. So now the way the rule system works, it works in a priority, right? So it first says, are they VIP? Yes or no? No, they're not. Okay. Are they GA? Yes or no? No, they're not. If you don't have anything here, then they get an offline message. But because the last rule is a no conditions, send them to room 1. So now it says if they're VIP, send them to room 2. If they're GA, send them to room 1. If we forgot to tag them entirely or we manually added them to Obvio and gave them a link, send them to room 1. So important to do that last step, then click save. And now you've got rules that can, that'll work with a single button. Those rules are now at the area level. So you only then need, once you do that, you only need one button on the dashboard and you're just managing a single area. So it's a wee bit on the advanced level move side, but once it's set up, it's pretty cool and easy to use.
Great. And keeping it with one area allows me to do the rollover stuff that we've talked about, we started this conversation with. And that's why I don't want to go with another area, because I don't want to set up the choosing 250 and all that stuff and going the
Totally
rigmarole. So this is super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's something else just for you to be aware of. You can technically, like you can take your GA people or your VIP people, put them in room 1, but let's say you only have 20 VIPs, hypothetically, but you still want 300 people in that room. Okay. So for your GA rule, you can also put them into room 1. So your VIPs go into room 1 and then your GAs go in through to room 1 through 5. By doing that, you keep all your VIPs in room 1, but it's a mixed audience. So, you know, sometimes when you're doing rules like that, you have to give some of those things a little bit of consideration.
Are those separate rules for the GA? So there's one rule for each room?
There's one rule for each tag. So it's not necessarily a rule for each room. So here, let me.
Both. I just checked both. Sorry, I just look at the UI. Sorry, not seeing it in front of me right now. That's the checkbox. Understood.
You got it.
Yep.
You got it. Yep.
Thank you. I hope that was beneficial to y'all. This is really, really helpful for me as we prepare for this event. And thank you very much, Blue, for the time.
Yeah, no worries. This I'm excited for you to to get to use the multi-room feature. I think, you know, the multi-room feature, technically behind the scenes, a little bit of inside baseball for y'all, is the reason that we created Obvio. Everything else, the dashboard and all of the other things, are actually, I'll call it window dressing to a certain extent. But the multi-room feature really is the reason that we created the platform, because we needed a way to load balance in a nice, easy way. So yeah, it's super cool. Okay, Ed is working on his first, thanks, Nick. Ed is working on my first event and designing a sign-up page. Awesome. I'm trying to get the picture to look okay. Can you suggest a size for it? Ed, are you here? I think I saw you earlier. There you are.
I am.
Yep. Hey there. You want to share your screen for me and tell me which picture you're talking about? And as you're doing...
give me 30 seconds here.
No worries. As you're doing that, something for everybody to know, what are suggested screen resolutions or photo resolutions, or photo sizes, is a question that we get a lot inside of Obvio. The reason that you don't get a firm answer from us when you ask that question is because these sites are all dynamic. They're all mobile responsive. And people generally look at these sites on way different screens, right? Like my screen in front of me is very different than my laptop screen, is very different than my iPad screen, is very, very different from my iPhone screen. And depending on what screen size is looking at the dashboard or sales page or whatever, is going to determine how Obvio scales and fits or compresses or cuts or does its thing to the image. So it's not uncommon for, especially with background images, for us to highly recommend you don't put anything that must be seen in a background image. Right. And the reason, so let me give you an example. Don't put your logo in a background image, because if you want your logo to be seen at all times on mobile, the background image may get squished or compressed and not visible, even though the website's visible. Whereas if you use the logo tool, it will work. So with all of that preamble, I see your screen and the cool face max. That's a really cool photo. Ed, what's your question? What image are we looking at?
So like this image so the image is supposed to be both people being able to see. And I wanted to put some information down below, like the name of the event, the dates, the time. And I wanted to put all of that there. But I'm like, this is not what that picture is supposed to look like. So I'm like, I need to make it smaller and that's what I wasn't sure what to do.
No worries. Click on the, which template are you using? Is this cards?
This is cards, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, let me double check. I think it's cards.
It is cards. Yep. So back to login. Yeah, or sign up. Okay, so click on the gear top right-hand corner and let's take a peek. So that's what the image is supposed to look like, right?
Right. And I want to add some more detail like down here, like the date and all that.
Right. So that's the sort of stuff that, again, I wouldn't put in a background image, right?
Okay.
Because what this is, because it's a background image, it is assumed that what is in that image doesn't have to be seen. Okay. So click out of here, just click the little X or click cancel. All right. Now hover over in the middle of the nose where the person down a little bit. Where is the logo on this? Is it in the sidebar on card? There it is. Click on that gear. All right. So just toggle the logo to enabled and click save. And I know this is not what you want, but let me show you. This is why I'm showing you the difference between a logo
Mm,
image and the background image. The background image is used to just fill the space. The logo
got it.
image is scaled to make sure that it fits perfectly. So what I would say is, do you have a different version of that background image that perhaps has, that's one way to do it, that perhaps has a more width? Do you is the version of the photo that we're seeing, is that the full version that you have, or is there more?
Yeah, honestly, I just got it off of AI.
Okay.
So like I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Blue. Can I just admit that? I'm just like
Listen,
going in
I
here and
barely know
screwing
what
things
I
up and
barely know what I'm doing. So when you asked that, when you asked for that image, did you ask AI for that image? That's an AI generated image?
yes.
Okay. So you should be able to ask AI for a resolution. Okay.
Okay.
And I would generally, what we normally default to saying is ask AI, or ask images for backgrounds to be 1920 by 1080 or 16 by 9 format, widescreen, right?
Wait, I'm
So
sorry,
that
1920 by 1080, or what was the other one?
16 by 9 format, it's just a ratio. So one is a
Oh,
ratio,
okay.
one is pixels. So 1920 by 1080 is pixels. 16 by 9 is just the ratio of those pixels. Okay.
Okay, thank
You
you.
should be able to ask AI for a 16 by 9 version of that image, right? So whatever tool you're using, say, hey, can you recreate this image, but make it a little bit wider, make it 1920 by 1080, or say make it 16 by 9, and allow for some background color to be seen to the left and right of the two masked figures in the image. Okay. And if
Okay.
you ask that question of AI, you'll probably get an image that'll center a little bit better the way you're envisioning for that page.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and mute you, Ed. And Amber is next. Do you build out the webinar on Obvio as well as the 3-day event, or do we use a separate platform for the webinar? Amber, great question. So generally speaking, we use a different dashboard for the webinar, but we use Obvio. Like we use Obvio when we're doing a webinar. So we'll create a dashboard that is just for the webinar. It's not for the event. Yeah. So do you build it out on the webinar on Obvio as well as the 3-day event? Yes. Is there more to that question? Because that felt like there doesn't need to be more to that question. I'm just wondering if there is.
I guess I'm like still so new to it. So as somebody who just joined Leap, I'm just trying, and I'm sure there's probably stuff in all the videos and trainings, but I'm trying to just sort of gather my ducks and put them in a row to see if I can, because we already have what we want to do for the webinar. So now I'm like, okay, so where do I start to put that? Do I put that on Omvio, or do I need to find a different, I think platform is the right word that I'm using, but a different platform to do the webinar on. And then once the webinar is done, then put the 3-day on Obvio. So that would be why I asked that question.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And when you say that, are you referring to like the sign up page as well as like all the things? And have you built your opt-in page for the webinar yet?
No, so that's like that's how much I don't know yet. So like if Obvio can do all of that, which I don't even know that yet because I'm so new, but yeah, then I would do all of that from there. So currently I have another platform that we use for our website that has options for like funnels and opt-ins and all this other stuff. And I'm like, do I even waste my time trying to work and figure that out? Literally, I'd have to teach myself to do how to do it on that platform that we currently have, or should I spend my time doing it on Obvio, which is where I'm doing the Leap stuff through. And I just want to make sure that I'm using my time wisely and not building something out twice or building it in a place that is not useful.
Perfect. Okay. So this is an interesting question because it can get to this. It's almost, it's almost like a religion question or a politics question or a platform question. Which platform do you prefer? Okay. So let me tell you what we do, and this is why it gets a little bit complicated. Okay. We have an opt-in page on ClickFunnels. And then we deliver the webinar itself on Obvio. And then we have a sign up page for our event, like a purchase page for our event, also on ClickFunnels. And then we have the event itself in Obvio as its own event. So that's what we do. Obvio technically has the ability for you to build a opt-in page for your webinar, a thank you page for that opt-in. It has the ability to allow you to email your opt-ins for the webinar when you're about to start and leading up to it. And then you have the ability to then build a sales page for your event on Obvio as well, and then deliver your event via Obvio. So you can technically do all of it inside of Obvio. And I would say if you are in a position where you're having to learn it anyway, I would just do it in Obvio. Because that way you're not having to learn two platforms, because if not, you're going to be like, okay. And it sounds to me like you're probably using like Go High Level or something like that, or maybe perhaps one of the GHL resellers. Do you know what the other platform is that you're using?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's called Simplero.
Simplero?
Yeah. So it's our website, and then it's our website builder. It's our email, like it's all of our things all in one. So
got it.
But,
okay.
But I legitimately will have to teach myself how to build all of that in Simplero. So that's why I'm asking if I can do that in Obvio. It just feels like it makes more sense to do it that way.
Yeah. It does to me as well. And Muddy, are you here still? Or Justin? Or Justin, are you online? Hey, can you look at Simplero and just take a look at those screenshots? That looks to me like a white label of GHL. But I don't know GHL well enough. There's a couple of screenshots halfway down that page that may indicate what it is to you. Okay, so not that it matters, but that really does look like a white label of GHL, which incidentally, there's nothing wrong with that. GHL is or Go High Level or High Level is a super powerful platform that a lot of people are using, and a lot of folks are building pages very similar to what Simplero does. And even if it's not Simplero, it doesn't matter. So regardless, even if it's not GHL white label, I was going to say it doesn't really matter. Regardless, I don't think you've made there's no bad decisions here, right? If you're like Blue, I think I'm going to learn how to build my opt-in page in Simplero. I would love to know if you are doing that, if Simplero is in fact a GHL white label. And here's why I keep saying that. Go High Level is a platform that basically one of the ways that they're growing as a business is they're allowing regular everyday people who don't know anything about programming to launch a CRM that is labeled as though it's theirs. Okay. And a lot of people in the industry are doing just that. Mastermind.com just launched like their newest version of mastermind.com. The builder is all GHL. The reason that I'm asking that question, the reason that I'm kind of a little bit not stuck on it, but I'm curious about it, is because Obvio connects to Go High Level and Go High Level based CRMs. Okay. And it does that natively. Now, if Simplero is not a GHL alternative, then we'd have to double check to see if Simplero has the ability to connect to third-party platforms using Zapier to connect the two systems. So you could 100% build your sales page and build your opt-in page on Simplero, and then still host the event on Obvio. That's totally doable. There's nothing wrong with that. It does, especially if you're learning a new system, provides a slightly extra layer of complexity, but it's minor, and it's something that we can definitely help you work through.
I mean, I personally, the Virgo in me says whatever is simplest and most time effective and efficient. So if Obvio does it, then that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I would say go the Obvio route. Now, the only thing is, Simplero may have some templates that are a little bit easier to get started with, like the Obvio sales page builder and Obvio, basically the Obvio sales page builder, which is also where you will create your opt-in page, right? And the difference between an opt-in page and a sales page is the difference between a paid ticket and a free ticket, right? That's the only difference. Free ticket meaning they still need to give you their first name, last name, and email address to register for the event. Paid ticket meaning they need to give you their first name, last name, email address, and billing information, right? So that's the only difference. But yeah, you could absolutely do that inside of Obvio. And what I would do as a starting point, Amber, if you want to kind of take a look at how to build inside of Obvio, first off, we need to make sure that it's turned on, that the marketplace is turned on for you. Amber, who's the primary? What's the name or the email address of the primary user? Is it you?
For
what? For Leap.
Primary user would be no, it's going to be Jocelyn, my business partner. Do you want the email? It's theritualspot@gmail.com.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's what I needed. All right, so we have not turned on Marketplace for everybody just yet. I just turned it on for your account. So under events, you'll now see when you log into an event, you'll now see this thing called Marketplace. So what you're going to want to do, high level, I'm going to give you what you need to do as a starting point, and then I'm going to give you a resource that'll help you get going on it. And then next week, show up and ask any questions that you have that we can help you with. Okay. But number one, from events, you're going to want to create 2 events, one for your webinar and one for your live event. And then once you create it, for the webinar, you're going to go to Marketplace and Tickets, and you're going to create a new ticket. You're going to call it whatever you want, like free registration, and you're going to make it a $0 ticket, and you're not going to turn on billing or shipping. Just leave that off. And then click create ticket. Now that creates your free registration ticket. You then go to purchase page, and you're going to make modifications to it that will give you the wow, that is really hurting my eyes. I was clearly fooling around with that. Anyway, so that's where you're going to get started, and you're going to start building out your page and building out the elements. Now, how the marketplace works, your best bet is to go into the Leap Member Hub and go to the most recent tech lab that we did a couple of months ago. And that was a full tech lab on how to use Marketplace. You're not going to need to watch the whole thing. In fact, you're going to be able to do some of them on like double speed or triple speed, because some of it is actual work time, right? Like where we were getting people to do different things. But that's a really good starting point and starting point resource for you of how to use Marketplace, because it was a full day workshop that we did on creating your own sales page. Okay, awesome. And then you're going to rinse, wash, rinse, repeat, and do that for your live event, right? The difference between your live event and the webinar when building the sales page or building the opt-in page is the ticket is going to have a price point. Everything else is basically the same concept. You're building the page, you're building it how you want it to look, et cetera, et cetera. And then you add a purchase form. Purchase form equals opt-in form. They're the same thing. For a free ticket, it's not going to ask for credit card information. For a paid ticket, it is. Nice and easy. All right. So let's go back and ask our next question. Karen Pina asked, how can I use StreamYard for a webinar instead of Zoom? I am fairly positive that StreamYard and Zoom don't like each other. So if you want to use StreamYard as your video delivery mechanism, you're not going to use Obvio. And there's no downside to that. Well, I mean, I think there's a downside to that, but if you're just trying to figure out how you want to host it on StreamYard, StreamYard, I'm pretty sure, is a streaming service and goes out to other various streaming services like YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and other streaming services as well. So yeah, last time I looked at StreamYard, it does not integrate with Zoom. Like you can't go from StreamYard into Zoom. And I think that's still the case, but to be fair, I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to go from StreamYard to Zoom. I was trying to go from StreamYard to Obvio. And you're saying that's not an option either.
It's not, because Obvio is a platform that's designed to work with Zoom.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could kind of do it, but I wouldn't.
Yeah,
okay. Like you're going to use, and the reason I say you can kind of do it is because you can take StreamYard and go to YouTube Live, and then you can take a YouTube Live and embed it onto an Obvio dashboard, and then not use Zoom at all, just have the live stream on the dashboard. So could you do it? Yeah, kind of. That would be a workaround for how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. And I think that your last question is probably the route I'm going to go to. You walk through that with events while you use another piece of software. So thanks.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Okay, Fred, is there a way to go back to start with demo sample data if I already jumped into start from empty template? Yes, there is. And it's a little bit backwards, but Fred, basically what you have to do is you go into templates and you pick a different template. And then you click yes. And then you go back to the template that you chose and click start with sample data. And it will rebuild your event with the sample data on the front page. And what that will do, going back and forth between templates, will, of course, mess up anything that you've done on the main dashboard page, but it'll keep everything else: speakers, sponsors, FAQs, Zoom backgrounds, attendees, Zoom areas, all of that stuff will stay in place. So you won't have to rebuild all that jazz. So that's the way to do it. It's a little bit it's a little hacky because you have to go from, go out of the template and go back into it. But that's how you would restart a dashboard.
Okay. Yeah, I was afraid of losing like everything because I know there was mention at one point or it said somewhere that if you switched around, you might lose what you've done. So
yeah, so
excellent.
there are certain things that when you go from one template to another don't translate, right? Like this feature doesn't exist in that template or what have you. But if you're talking about going back to sample data, you don't really care about the work on the dashboard. You're trying to kill that and start sample data. So yeah, it doesn't matter.
I had dropped a few questions. I know some of which you have already made mention or spoken about to other people, and I want to appreciate that everyone seems to have kind of the similar line of questioning. Could you had run through real quickly, but could you just tell me again how you utilize? Because I have a ClickFunnels team, but I really like Obvio, and I think we kind of butt heads on what should do what. Did you say that you don't use Marketplace for your purchase page? You use ClickFunnels for that?
Yeah, we have. I will also tell you that we are probably going to try to use Obvio's marketplace system for the next version. The reason we have not, or for the next TVE, the reason, and you also had a couple of other questions in here. So I just answered the first one first. Number two was, let me just go through these. Just to clarify, webinar dashboard is a new event within my organization. Correct.
Okay, that was also good.
Yep. Can you remind me where I find and what day it was the replay of when you recently walked through creating a dashboard?
That was thrown in the chat as well already.
Okay,
so
good.
I got that. Yeah,
Excellent,
that was awesome.
Because I actually don't remember when that was. So happy.
I remember it in real time, but I lost my memory as far as when it actually happened. So
perfect. And why am I so awesome? That is, probably a credit to my parents more than anything else. Okay, and so let's talk about the ClickFunnels thing.
Oh yeah, please.
So I would say the reason we used ClickFunnels instead of Marketplace is because we wanted an upsell for our ticket process, right? We wanted to sell the general admission ticket, and then we wanted an upsell from there. I'll tell you also, I wanted the ability to do some more advanced features like cart abandonment. So in our case, on our ClickFunnels cycle, like our ClickFunnels funnel is 4 pages, generally speaking. It is the sales page, it's an order form, it's an upsell page, and it's a thank you form or a thank you page. The sales page, when you click the button to say register, is actually just an opt-in, right? So you enter in your first name, your last name, your email address, and your phone number, and you click next to go to the next step in the process. That opts you in and tells us, hey, Fred started the process. Then you get to the order form page, and that's where you actually complete your purchase. Now, if you were to try this and you were to go to like sagehub.com, because I think it's currently set up, and you were to not purchase TVE, but do the first step, then in 45 minutes or so, you'll get an email that says, hey, Fred, it looks like you started the process, but you didn't complete it, right? So that gives us because the sales page and the order form are 2 separate pages, that gives us that ability. In Obvio, the marketplace, the purchase page is the order form. So there isn't that capability to do cart abandonment emails. Now, you can still do cart abandonment retargeting ads by adding a Facebook pixel onto or a Google pixel onto your order form page and, doing stuff from there. The second reason that we didn't use Marketplace, Obvio's system, is because the upsell page didn't exist yet. And as of today, it still doesn't. I think it may be visible for some folks, but it is technically not actually working. But it's really close. I will tell you that I'm hoping next week I'll be able to show you a demo of the upsell page actually functioning. Now, once you have that in place, now there's a 3-step funnel that you can build inside of Marketplace. You can build a purchase page and order form, so sales page with order form on it. You're going to be able to build an upsell page, and you're going to be able to build a thank you page. So you'll actually be able to create the 3 steps. You won't be able to create the 4th, right, that we have on our main funnel. And I would say that if you're looking for some more advanced funnel type stuff, ClickFunnels is where you should be going, right? Like that's
Okay, that's what I thought. And then do you just use like Zapier to connect them with the dashboard?
Well, we're not no. So I mean, yes-ish. How we
I
do
guess
it,
how does ClickFunnels tell Obvio that they signed up and they're good to go?
perfect. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to tell you how we do it today, and then I'll tell you how you're going to be able to do it probably in about 2 months or so. Today, we don't use ClickFunnels or ClickFunnels 2 anyway as our CRM. We just use it for funnels. Our CRM is Keep. So ClickFunnels tells Keep that we have a new attendee. Keep tags that attendee as an attendee. And then we use Obvio's native integration with Keep to sync the attendee table back and forth based on the tags in Keep. So ClickFunnels doesn't talk to Obvio at all, but it kind of does indirectly.
That's
right?
where I've
ClickFunnels,
been kind of held up with a lot of things because I feel like the ClickFunnels people know ClickFunnels very well, but then I'm trying to explain what I don't really understand somewhat in
and are
Obvio.
you,
So
yeah, what are you using? Are you using CF2 as your CRM?
yes, currently that's what I'm using.
Cool. So you'll be happy to know that 2 days ago, well, actually, this past weekend, I was in Vegas with Barry for Funnel Hacking
I
Live.
saw Barry. She did a fantastic job, by the way.
She was pretty awesome. So we were there. I had a conversation with their API product manager. And then I talked to him again on Monday, offline, or actually online on a Zoom call. And we are going to be building a native integration with CF2. It's probably going to take 4 to 6 weeks to build, but they now have everything that we need in place in order to be able to actually build that integration. And because I know a few people there, it's going to be pretty easy for us to get the things that we need kind of nailed down. But we were waiting for their API to be there. So, and it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And one final question, just because it was actually, since you brought it up at the Funnel Hacking Live, it was the new feature on Zoom, the Simulive, was brought up. Is that something that where you can replay a webinar, but then have somebody live in the chat? And it's apparently a new feature on Zoom, which, based on your reaction, I'm not sure if you're going to have the answer to my question. I was trying to figure out how that might, if that's a capability that we could still utilize through Obvio.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't actually looked at it, so I'm looking at it right now. The short answer is no. Simulive. That's fascinating. So Simulive looks like it's a feature of webinar and Zoom events.
Okay.
And because Obvio uses, that's really interesting. Because Obvio uses meeting, not webinar, then no, it's not usable with Simulive. Now, with that being said, we use here at Sage, we use a platform called A-Event.
Okay.
And A-Event allows you to play a video into a Zoom meeting at a timed moment. So I can be like, all right, play this webinar at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and then play it every day at 2 p.m. And it works natively with Zoom, but we've also worked with Aevent to build an integration with Obvio. So when we do our webinar, the webinar that we did to fill the virtual event on virtual events, we had Aevent triggering the video that played the webinar at 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. daily. So we were hands off. Nobody ever had to be in there. But because of the fact that it's a Zoom meeting, because of the fact that it's in Obvio, if you wanted to, you could then, and we did do this from time to time, you could have a team member in Zoom in the chat.
Operating the chat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The cool thing about
Okay.
Aevent as well is it has the ability to send chats to Zoom. So something else that we did with ours is it was like, okay, at 6:17, Barry says this thing. Let's put a message from me in the chat. At this time, Barry does this thing. Let's put this in the chat. Then there was something else that started happening. We started watching because we were online every day, like for the first 5 days, and we started seeing similarities between what questions were happening and when they were happening. So we started timing answers to the questions at approximately the time that they would get asked. So we got to a point where there were like 17 messages that we dropped in the chat over the course of the 90 minutes or so that the webinar happened, and it allowed us to not even have live team in the chat, and it just wasn't necessary.
And that's all through Aevent.
That's all through Aevent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aevent is definitely a little bit more of it's a little bit more of an advanced level move, but it was a pretty epic thing because we were able to run somewhere in the area of like 72 webinars in 2.5, 3 weeks, and be hands off pretty much the entire time.
Okay. Very nice. All right. You answered so much of what I had on all my cards here. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. All right, Mark Daniels, I cannot create an event. What URL goes into the unique URL space? And 2, I cannot add a logo. The logo appears, but I get this message, slug contains invalid characters. Okay. Mark, you are probably, hey, how's it going? So you are talking essentially about this page right here.
That's
and
correct.
Yeah, your unique URL needs to be just words, no special characters. And unique URL equals slug. They're the same thing. So there's a couple things to keep in mind with the unique URL. The unique URL is unique platform wide, meaning if you are trying to make your event called update, right? So update.obv.io. Well, that name is already taken. It's taken by this event that we're all in. If you're trying to make your name leap.obv.io, leap is already taken. So you have to pick a name that isn't already taken in the platform, number 1. Number 2, you can select next to the unique URL, there's a drop down that allows you to select from, I believe, 4 different domains. So you can click which one of those domains you want to use. And then in the unique URL, just have it be a word that is, or an acronym that is unique to your event. So if your event is called My Awesome Event, I would start with MAE.
My awesome event.
Yeah, myawesomeevent.com or .obv.io. That may be taken. So then I would try, it's kind of like trying to find a Twitter username, right? Then I would be like, okay, how about My Awesome Event 2024? Oh, that's available. Cool. Let's use that. So
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. And then once you do that, then when you click save, it'll work. It's not saving because of the logo. The logo is not what's creating the issue. It's the unique URL.
Okay. Okay. Great.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, let's go to Vanessa. I'm trying to put bullets on my sales page, but I can't figure it out. Also, the ticket section isn't centering. I'm adding color. As Vanessa here. Hey, Vanessa, do you mind unmuting number 1? And then number 2, could you share your screen?
Sure. Hold on for a second.
And hello.
Hello. Let's see. I'm trying to see which one is it to share. It's not really coming up for me. Let's see.
You should see a green share button. If you don't,
Well, I have that green share, but you're the only one coming up, and it's the one that says screen. But let me go to minimize that. And I can't do that. Okay. I'll get it in a second. There it is. Okay, I am sharing now.
All right, cool.
And the bullet points, I want to go here, and it wasn't working for me. And so,
okay. All right. So do me a favor. Let's scroll down to the bottom of the section that you're currently in. So scroll down just a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, click, wait. Click up. So click add content block. Let's add a bullet point section here.
Okay.
So click bulleted list.
Right here.
Yep. And click add. All right. Now hover over that. Yeah, well, first off, let's hover over that and drag it. Use the 2 lines. Yep. And drag it up to there.
Where I want bullets.
I think right about there should probably right about there. I think that's right below where your other thing is, if I remember what it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this can help. So now click on the gear inside of that.
This gear?
No,
right here.
The bullet list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Well, sure. Actually, while you're in here, grab that first boost your communication skills, equip your daughter, blah blah blah. I don't mean blah blah blah. Just highlight that.
I know that.
Yeah. Highlight that and copy it.
Just the one?
Yep, just the one for now. All right, and close this.
Okay.
Just the X up at the top. Yep.
X at the top. Okay.
Yep. Now, click on the second gear down, the one gear down. That note down to the scroll up a little bit. Okay, down a little bit. So you see for a moment you get a second layer of gears of icons. Just scroll your mouse just right below a quarter of an inch from where it is right now.
Up or down?
Down a little more. Down a tiny bit more. There. Okay, so you see that second layer? There we go. So click on this the lower of the 2 gears.
Okay.
All right. So in that, where it says new bullet, highlight that and paste. Paste your bullet in your thing. Yep. Great. And delete the new bullet. You don't need that.
Okay. Delete which one?
The text new bullet, unless you want to leave that in there. I don't think you do.
Oh no, I don't need that.
Right at the end of that, it still says new bullet.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Cool. All right. Okay, so
and now
Click save. All right, now hover
It's white.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
The gear.
yeah, click the gear and then let's make that go to styling and we can
Right. I could fix it. I know how to fix it from now, from there.
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay,
So, yeah.
so let me show you, close this and let me show you how to create your next bullet point.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the next problem. So hover
Mm-hmm.
over the bulleted section, the block, the bullet,
This
the
one?
red one. Yep. You see that little plus icon?
Mm-hmm.
Click on that. All right. Now,
And I guess
gives you another bullet and you can
right.
do this highlight and
Same
paste.
thing.
You got it.
Absolutely. Got it. All right. That was helpful. Now I know how to do the bullets because I wasn't letting me do the bullets up there. Okay. So that I know how to correct that. Now,
Perfect.
the second question was when I go down, let's see, to my ticketed section, all the way down. See how the VIP, the dash is coming over here? And I was trying to fix it and I was not able to.
I do see that. And that's happening because of the amount of space on this screen, right? So the block, like click the little collapse button, bottom left-hand corner of your screen, just for a second.
The bottom left-hand corner of this screen here. Collapse
you
here?
see it? Collapse, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's happening is the space that is given for the text, like the text is too big to fit in the space. That's why it's not working properly. So
Okay.
what you need to do is either increase the size of, like if you change the size of that ticket selector, make it a little bit smaller.
Here?
Yep, you got it. To the left. Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be smaller top to bottom, just left to right.
Okay. That works.
Yeah, and it listen.
But now
go ahead.
Is it centered though? And I've tried that. I've tried a lot of things when I was doing it,
Yeah,
and
I
I was
mean it
thinking
is.
when I go.
I will tell you this. Go all the way to the bottom. Let's stay down there. Technically,
Okay.
it is centered. Okay, but there's a catch. Okay.
Okay.
And the catch is it's centered, but the text size is slightly off to make it well. Oh, you're talking about center just left to right like that. You just click on that button.
Okay.
Because it's not centered right now. Did it
No,
move?
it's not. And it didn't move at all. It didn't move at all.
Actually, then what's the link the one right below it? Click the center icon on that. Let's see if that one's centered. The actual purchase form.
This one?
No,
Not
no,
here, but here.
that one.
Are you sure?
Yep. Click confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is actually centered.
Okay. And I want to go look at the preview page though, once we get up there.
Okay.
I bet y'all saying, "Oh, she is so slow."
Not at all.
Okay. And let's go down. Can y'all see the page still?
Yep.
The preview page? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It looks to me.
It looks centered. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, I
Great.
think what may have been happening is it's possible that the other thing wasn't wasn't centered. The purchase form right below it or the piece right above it may not have been centered.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to stop sharing now.
All right. Sounds good.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I don't actually have any other questions from you guys. Do any of you have any follow-up questions to anything that we talked about, or does anybody have a question that they haven't posted yet? Hey, Nathan, go ahead. Just unmute yourself.
There we go. Thank you so much, Blue. Yeah, I did submit, but I guess it's probably buried. But I wanted to the magic link. We have a list of so we use Go High Level and or a white label version of Go High Level that I can confirm. How do I get all the magic links be texted out instead of email, text out? Is there a way to do that?
There is. Are you wanting to text from Go High Level, or are you wanting to text from Obvio?
Does Obvio have that ability to text out that magic link? If that's the case, then that's okay.
It does if the phone number exists inside
Okay.
of Obvio.
Okay, if that's the case, I would love to learn that. If not, direct me to where I can find that video.
Okay.
To save.
And Nathan, is the account in your name or somebody else's?
It's in my name. I have not set it up. I have not set up the account yet. I'm just learning, and then once I do it, I just do it all together.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I saw that account wasn't set up yet. So
yep.
Yep,
I just joined Leap like a week ago, or I just had a newborn, so my brain is not that my timing is.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. So Nathan, there's a couple of things. Number one, you're going to want to set up the integration between Go High Level and Obvio, or your third-party white label. And then what'll wind up happening is Obvio will give you a tag that you need to apply inside of Go High Level to all of your contacts who are attendees. You're then going to have the ability to select a custom field inside of Go High Level where you will store Obvio's magic link in Go High Level. And then there's a couple of other things that you'll be able to set, like a tag when they check in, as an example, or a tag when they sign the waiver, or a tag when they're created. So there's a few things that you'll be able to do. Then you click save, and at the top, there's a toggle to turn the sync on, and you turn that on. And then what happens is every 5 minutes, Obvio connects with GHL and says, or your white label, and says, hey, any new people with this tag here that we need to add. And it will keep the two lists in sync as it relates to that one tag. If you have the phone number in your phone number field in GHL, then the phone number will come across into Obvio, and you can go into the communication and broadcast system and click new broadcast and send a SMS instead of an email, and just insert the login URL into your SMS, and that will then get merged in there, and just click I agree. There are some costs associated with sending SMSs from Obvio. It's 2 cents per US and Canadian phone numbers, or 10 cents for all other countries. And then in addition to that, there's a $1 broadcast fee. And it'll tell you what the approximate price point is for the attendees who you currently have in the system. And then you can, yeah, so you can send broadcasts for SMS directly from Obvio. Or when you have those things synced up, right? When you have GHL synced with Obvio, you can also send SMS messages with the magic link custom field inside of GHL inserted into the SMS message from GHL. So you can do it either way. And, you know, I don't know that there's a significant advantage one way or the other.
Okay, so I just need to go to the GHL account and just sync with Obvio. That's it, or connect with Obvio.
Exactly. And each time the service integrations in Obvio are done at the event level. So every time you create a new event, you just have to connect it to GHL.
Got it. Okay. And I have a second question is my event is in October, so in about 4 weeks from now. And we're anticipating between 1 or 2,000 attendees. So we rented a local studio, but their team does not know. I've never done virtual, but they do have a video wall. That's pretty cool. So is there like a checklist that you can share that I can share with them to see, okay, here's what you need? Because I'm kind of nervous now because I'm hiring their space, I'm hiring their crew, I'm hiring their team, but they're not you, Blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Can you
How many
clone
people
yourself?
yeah. How many people are, well, I mean, yeah, I can't, cloning myself would probably be more expensive than just renting our studio, to be fair. So how many attendees did you say you were expecting?
At least 1,000. Last year we had this event. I know you use the word in person, but a typical in person event, we had 500 people. This year,
just for the record, I have no problem with in-person events.
Okay, because I
happen
know
to
you
think-
said
I happen to think it's easier and less expensive and more effective to do virtual, but we
Right.
have a lot of clients who still want to do in person from time to time, and I think there's a good place for it. So just for the record. But with that being said,
so at least 1,000 to 2,000. Most likely it would be like 1,500 to 2,000 people, and we definitely wanted to do it right. We would love
Yeah.
to use your studio, but because the timing is so close, it's in 4 weeks.
How long is it?
It's 3 days. I don't F with the formula.
I mean, listen, part of the issue with our studio is we may be too expensive for you as
Right.
well. But if I'll DM you the price point to actually use our studio for a 3-day event. Actually, I'll just tell all of you, it doesn't matter. Our pricing is pretty straightforward, but I do know it's on the high side. So it's a 1-day event is $25K. A 2-day event adds 15,000 to that, which would make it 40. A 3-day event adds 10,000 to that, which would make it 50. Leap members get a 15%, it's 10 or 15% discount. So it's either 45 in reality or 42.5 for a 3-day event. And to be fair, I'm not remembering in this moment. Now, when we say rent the studio, in our case, it includes all the team to use everything. In our case, we also, so it's not just the space, it's actually our production team as well. And we build out your dashboard for you. We do the connection to GHL. We help you manage all that stuff. So that's the price point. If you're interested, email Laura at leap@poweredbysage.com, and I'm happy to connect. With that being said, there's a couple of things that you have to be aware of. Okay. The most important thing is the ability to send video and audio into Zoom in multiple rooms, right? Meaning in multiple computers, multiple devices. The other thing that's important is that you're able to extract the audio and video from multiple Zoom rooms into their audio and video production systems. from an audio perspective, audio is more complicated than video. Okay. And the most important thing is that the studio has mix minuses, which the studio should know. If you say to them, do you have the ability to send a mix minus into a Zoom machine, and they don't know what that means, I would run, not walk the opposite direction. Okay. Because this is not it's a very standard audio term. Like everybody who knows anything at all knows what a mix minus is, especially when it comes to studios and production gear. Okay. So they should know what that means, even if you don't. At a high level, what it means is when I send the audio from my audio board into Zoom Room 1, I'm sending every audio signal that I am receiving minus the audio from Zoom Room 1. And we're doing that because we don't want to create an echo, a loop, right? Where the people talk in Zoom Room 1 and they hear themselves at the same time, like those weird echoes that happen in Zoom sometimes. So that's the piece that's important. From there, in an ideal world, you're sending both, on the video side, you're sending both the galleries and the pin view or speaker view from Zoom into your production video switchers. In terms of a checklist, I don't know how to create one even for what we've done. And I would also say that if you have if the studio needs some of those checklists, like just having a space with an LED wall is not a virtual event studio. It's a stage with a backdrop. Even if they're like, we were recently talking to somebody who went to this really cool looking, great looking studio in Austin. And we started asking questions, and we were consulting. So, I just said to the client, listen, here are some things that you're going to need to be aware of. And I talked about some of the stuff that we were talking about just now. And they had no idea, right? They are using that particular studio, and a lot of studios are like this, are using the LED wall mostly for like filming. Like, so somebody comes in and films a bunch of promo stuff in front of an LED wall. It's all pre-record. So they've got this cool space and they hear the word virtual event and LED wall. And it's like, yeah, we have that. But do you? Not really. So I would just say be cautious and be aware. Find out if they've done this stuff already. And again, if they don't know what a mix minus is, if they haven't run a Zoom meeting before, like you're walking into a minefield.
Okay,
and I don't mean that, like I'm not
no,
trying
yeah,
to.
no, that's good because I can't fail. I mean, that's a lot of attendees that I would be, and my reputation's on the line, and that would, because we had a pretty successful event last year in person, and now I'm switching it to a virtual. The last thing I want is to fail. So, do you know if you're
what's your offer? How much is your offer?
$290? Oh, like my high ticket offer or the ticket?
Your high ticket offer from the event. What's the offer?
Be 15 grand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have, even if you're gonna have 1,000 people and you're gonna be making a $15,000 offer, you shouldn't be thinking about this. You should be coming to our studio.
Great. Are you available 7, 8, 9 October?
It'd be funny if I said all that and I was like, no, we're not available.
See, that's
hold on one second and I'll tell you. I mean, here's the good news. We have 2 studios. So you said 7, 8, 9?
7, 8, 9. Yep.
Of October, right?
October, yep. I'm wearing a blue shirt, Blue.
Yeah. No, we are available. There's crossover on the 9th, meaning we have another client who is coming in for sound tests on the 9th, but we can do sound tests after your event is done, or we can set you up in Studio B. which also has an LED wall and has all the things that the main room does. But either way, we could, yeah, let's have a conversation.
Okay, so I'll just email Laura.
Yep. And I'll have her get you on a call with me tomorrow or Friday at the latest.
You got it. Thank you, Blue. Thank you,
Yep,
everybody, for taking the time. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Fred, I see a couple raised hands. So all y'all breaking the rules. Let's jump into those because we have another 15 minutes. Fred, go ahead.
So
And I didn't invite you to ask
super
questions.
quick.
It's not really
So
breaking.
you had talked about the event under the organization. If I had an event that I did not want to be tied to my bigger organization, kind of an offshoot thing, would that be something that I would create a separate organization to do, or can I kind of under the radar do it as a separate event?
When you say under the radar to who?
Well, under the radar to the attendees, I guess you would say.
Attendees can't see different events within an organization. So if it's
Okay, so
from an attendee level, you can have, like, I mean, we have, I don't know, 30 events inside the Sage organization. When you join the virtual event on virtual events, the only one you know about is the virtual event on virtual events. There's no connection point from an attendee perspective into other events in the same organization. They have no idea that they exist.
So it could be just from me. It wouldn't necessarily have any of the branding or anything stamped around it.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And like, so I'll give you an example. We did the webinar inside of the Sage event. We do Leap inside of the Sage event or Sage organization. And we do the virtual event on virtual events inside the Sage organization. Each individual event is its own entity. And attendees don't cross over. Design doesn't cross. Nothing crosses over from one event to another within an organization. The reason for another organization, like the real reason for another organization, really comes down to I've got an entirely different business, but more importantly, team that is going to be accessing Obvio, and I don't want them to see any of the events from business A. I only want them to see the events from business B. Now to create, because we're talking about team members, we're talking about people who go into Obvio, make changes to the dashboards, et cetera. That's a reason to create a separate organization.
Okay.
You know, right? Or in our case, we act as a what's called third party. So we're an outside vendor for people who come to our studio or for people that we produce their events for. And I don't want the Tony Robbins team knowing what the Grant Cardone team is doing from me, right? So we have two different organizations or hundreds that are we have an organization for each one of our clients.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I thank you for the clarification with that.
Yeah, no problem. Brenda, let's go to you next.
Hi, thank you, Blue. This is so anti-Nathan that I'm on like the beginning first ladder. I don't have a CRM, and you'd mentioned Keep. And I would be building out the sales page, opt-in page, and I need to have a CRM. So I'm assuming that somewhere in the videos, somewhere in the tutorials, I'll find the step-by-step on how to create, keep, and link to Obvio, and then have that as my main CRM.
You will see how to connect Keep to Obvio. You won't see how to set up Keep. But the good news is Keep has a great onboarding team, and you can, get them to help you with that setup process. You can also take a look at ClickFunnels 2, like CF2, the new version of ClickFunnels also has CRM capabilities, as does Go High Level. Those are the three that I would be looking at right now. And there are a ton of resellers for GHL. But Brenda, Lisa and Lucio Crisali inside of Leap are resellers of Go High Level. And they also have some great hand-holding options around getting that stuff set up. So you may want to reach out to them on Facebook.
Their name, please? I'm sorry. Could you
Yeah.
repeat their?
Yeah, it's Lisa and Lucho Crisali, Crissale, I think.
Okay.
I think that's how you
Great.
spell it.
All right.
All right.
I'll check it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And they are oh, what have I done? They are Leap members, so you can reach them through the Leap Facebook group. All right, Melanie, what's your question?
Hey, Blue, you may have just answered it. So I'm finally moving to ClickFunnels 2.0 after the weekend. And I know you just talked about it, but you talked about the integration before. I get it with the funnels, but are you feeling good about their CRM? Because I'm using ActiveCampaign now.
I mean, I know more people who are using CF2 as their CRM these days than I did previously. So am I feeling good about it? I don't know. I mean, I don't use it for that, right? We use CF2 for funnels. I don't use it for their CRM, but admittedly, I also don't use ActiveCampaign. I also don't use HubSpot. I also don't use Keep. I also don't use, Kit or ConvertKit or any of the other platforms regularly. The one I personally use happens to be Keep. But I do know more people are actually using ClickFunnels. And the more I play with it, the more I use it, the more it is appealing.
Okay, well, that helps because I'm feeling more bullish about it than I was a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they also just released a new did you see? Huh?
Yeah,
Barnum.
I did. Oh, moving from 1.0 to 2.0. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I finally downloaded it today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is going to make life a lot easier for a lot of us who are trying to move some of their funnels to CF2.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Cool. All right. Any other questions before we wrap for the day, or do we all get 9 minutes back? Feels like we're getting 9 minutes back. All right. So thanks for a great call, guys. I haven't been on these calls for a couple of weeks, possibly 3 or 4 since before the virtual event on virtual events. Maybe I was on one right after that. But it's always great to connect with you guys and talk about the platform and answer questions and so on and so forth. Also reminds me of little things that we need to tweak and make better for y'all. Between now and next Wednesday at 5 p.m. when we meet next, remember you can always reach out to our team via email at help@obv.io. Between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time, there's the little chat icon inside of Obvio, inside the application. That's another way for you to connect with our team. And then also there is the Facebook group. And I would encourage you, especially for those of you who are in Leap, if you have Obvio-based questions, post them to the Obvio Facebook group, not the Leap Facebook group. And that Facebook group, I believe, is facebook.com/groups/Obvio app. However, I'm pretty sure there's a link on the dashboard that you use to get into this call today. So those are the ways to reach us. We want to make sure that you continue to use the platform to its fullest. Always good to talk with people who feel like they're brand new, Brenda. And those of you who are more advanced, equally awesome. So excited to see what you guys do with the platform. All right, we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.